In this example, I'm going to show you how to set up an NPC that will not let you move in a particular direction. So this is a classic adventure game, trope. And how you get past that NPC is, we'll handle that in another video because there's so many ways to get past NPCs. Maybe you shoot them, you stab them, you decapitate them, you bribe them, you play a violin to make them go to sleep, you show them an ID card, you wear a disguise. There's all sorts of things that you could do. We're just going to do the part where the NPC stops you from going in a particular direction. So let's let's pop over to Lantern and take a look at this. So you can see I've added on off some hallways. There's my security droid. So let's go over to Lantern and take a look at this. So yes, let's do. Okay, so here we are in Lantern, and I'm going to, let's save this and run it. This is the same example I was using for the flashlight in the door. If I go south, it says this is a north-south hallway. A security robot is stationed here to keep unauthorized personnel out of the lab to the south. I hope I spelled personnel right. But see, I can go south into the lab. So there's a large lab with an exit to the north, right? There's nothing. The security droid is not doing anything here. He's there. Sure, I can look at him. X, or is it robot? I can examine the robot. The heavily armored robot is known to shoot first and ask questions later. So there's a robot here, but he's not doing anything. All right, so how do I make this robot block the door to the south? I can't go south because the security robot is there. Well, in the previous examples, we were doing stuff with functions and sentences. Now, this is a different type of kind of function that we're going to have now. We're going to use a check. So a check is a type of function that is used to validate if a sentence should be processed. So it's a way of putting a filter on certain actions to stop them from happening. So again, so as an example, if you want to turn something on, you have to have it. Or if you want to read something, you have to have it. If you want to drop something, you have to have it. If you want to take something, you can't already have it. So we want to put limitations on, or we want to validate that an action should be taken before we do. And if the action is not valid, then we want to stop. So I'm going to write a new check function here, and I'm going to call it check_robot, and click add check function. So now we've got a little code editor here where we can write a new function. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check to see if I'm in the same place as that robot. Don't let me go south, right? Print I'm not we're going to warn the player here. So let's right click and see what we've got for a snippet. I have an NPC block one or more exits. Okay, so there's check if an NPC is present. Okay, so this is probably the best one here. Check if have an NPC block one or more exits. Which object is the NPC? Okay, so that is the security robot. Let's click OK. Which exit does the NPC block? It blocks the south exit. Okay, and then we're going to click this OK button. And what this is going to do is it's going to add this check to the verb south. So what this is doing here, let's look at this code. If the player's location is equal to the security robot's location, then we're going to print, some text here. The troll blocks that direction. Let's change this to the robot would surely vaporize you. All right, there we go. And then stop. So stop is the command to not to make the check fail. Normally we would be able to go to south, but before we go south, we're going to run this check, and if the check fails, we're going to stop. Now let's go look over at our verbs here, and you can see on the verb south, we have now added the check robot. So now when we move around, we can do this robot check to say, hey, if we're in the same place as the robot, don't let us move. So when we go south, we're going to run the robot check. And the robot check says if the player's location is the robot's location, or the security robot's location, print the robot would surely vaporize you, and then stop. So let's save this and run it. And if I go south, see, the security robot is here. If I go north, that's fine. But if I try to go south, the robot would surely vaporize you, right? That NPC is blocking me from going south. Now, maybe we want the robot to shoot you dead. So how could we? Well, well, maybe do we want to do that here? Now we'll call that a day. But what you could do is also you could print that the robot shoots you dead, and then call the reset function. There's a reset function, and that would here, kill player. Let's see. Oh, we have a kill player function. Yeah, if we go to functions, we have a function called kill player, and it prints you have died, and it asks you if you want to play again. And yeah, so let's all right. So let's see if we can get that to work. Verb checks. So we'll print zap, and then we will call the kill player function and stop. So let's see what happens here. If we try this would be funny. So now if I launch the player and I go south, zap, you have died, press any key to continue. So that actually worked. So just in the list of functions, there's one called kill player, and there's also one called reset. And Lantern doesn't know how your game is supposed to reset. So eventually, when you're done with your program, you're gonna put in there's code here, generate reset code, and it'll drop in the code to reset everything for you. So you want to do that last because your game state's going to change. So there it is. But that's how to make an NPC block you. All you have to do is you create a check function and then drop in the code to have an NPC block one or more exits. You pick the NPC, you click OK, you select which exit it blocks, and then you have to just change the text. You know, the robot blocks the way, or blocks your, the robot's not having it. All right, the robot is not messing around. Okay, or you could put in the little code to kill the player. But the point is, what you need to take away from this is the idea of a check function. A check function is used to validate whether a sentence should get processed or not. If a sentence should not get processed, then you call the stop function, and then you can assign your checks to particular verbs, and you can see Lantern's done that for you automatically. Later, if you're like, oh no, I want the robot to block east, I can select east, and I can add the robot check onto there, or I could remove the robot check. So that's how that works. So that's how you can have an NPC block a direction. In the next videos, I guess we'll talk about how do we decapitate the guard or whatever. How do we decapitate the troll? How do we vaporize the robot? How do we show the key card or the security pass to the guard or whatever? But there it is. Pretty easy to have an NPC block a direction.